Welcome back, everybody, to Wrestling Travel presents the Lockdown Sessions. And today I'm very honored to have as our special guest, the Blue Meanie. Meanie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, we appreciate having you. I played around with my virtual background. I had my BWO shirt on, but that color just doesn't work when I do the virtual. I'm still learning.
You just blend in.
Blend in. Everything was crazy, and I had a little panic moment. So
it's all good.
We did these lockdown sessions, and aptly named for the time that we're living in, and just trying to catch up and find out what is keeping you busy. Now, I know you've got a podcast that just recently,
which is funny because I first day with the new math. I apologize. I literally just finished recording this last Monday's episode 2 seconds before I logged into here. So, every Monday, me and Josh Chernoff and I from Fight TV do a podcast called Mind of the Meanie, where it's just a casual conversation between two friends. We talk about wrestling, we talk about music, movies, football, sports, whatever comes to mind. And we drops every Monday morning at 6 a.m. You can find it wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/Mind of the Meanie. So if you enjoy your podcast in YouTube form or regular form, we try to accommodate everybody. So it's been a blast. We just finished episode 8, I want to say. It's all blur now that we're in the apocalypse. But every day seems to be the same. So, but I'm having a blast with that. That's keeping my creative juices flowing. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I was going to ask you what number podcast you're on. I got a chance to check it out last night, and it's great to have just the array of entertainment that it's available to us, especially while we're kind of stuck home. So.
Yeah.
What else has been keeping you busy? What have you been doing just to kind of stay? I mean, I'm sure that takes up a lot of your time, the podcast, but what have you been doing during this kind of shutdown time?
Just that, trying to build a brand. It's hard to build a brand when you have no access to the outside world, where you can't go to a show or go to a convention or stuff like that, where you can't even, put up a flyer anywhere for anybody to see this podcast. So during the week, I'm busy trying to promote it on social media, trying to come up with ideas for T-shirts, because we got ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. And then I'm also working on my own Blue Meanie stuff with ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. I just jumped into the world of Cameo, Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO, all that good stuff. Just trying to interact with the fans, whether it's doing podcasts or doing interviews. I'm doing a ton of interviews and stuff like that. So just trying to stay creative, stay out there, stay in the eye lines, or at least in the peripherals of all the wrestling fans out there. So just trying to have some fun and stay sane that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to go back to when you were a younger Blue Meanie. A younger Meanie. Bill Apter's book has a story. Was Wrestling Fix? You helped him with some camera equipment. Can you kind of go through that for me? I have the book. I've read it, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I was a kid in Atlantic City. I was going to the mall one day, and I ran into Bill Apter, and I was like, "Wow, there's no wrestling in town. Are you Bill Apter?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing a photo shoot for KO magazine," or it was either KO or The Ring, one of his sister magazines for Pro Wrestling Illustrated, The Wrestler, whatever. And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing a photo shoot over at Trump Plaza." So my grandfather worked at Trump Plaza, and I knew that place inside and out because I used to always go to the arcade there and play video games and stuff like that. So I made it a purpose to, on my way home, stop through and hopefully accidentally run into him again. And he did. He was like, "Hey, you're the kid from the mall." I was like, "Yay, you're still Bill Apter." And he's like, I need batteries. Do you know where I can get some batteries? I was like, absolutely. So he trusted this kid he just met in the mall with a couple of bucks to run out and buy him some batteries. He gave me the batteries he needed. I ran right back to the same mall we were just in, went to the camera shop, bought him some batteries, went back. He's like, you want to hang out? I'm doing a photo shoot with Lloyd Hunnigan. And I was like, absolutely. So I hung out, and Lloyd Hunnigan comes in to take some photos. And I was his assistant for a day. He's like, hey, can you hand me that camera? Went over, got him that camera. Okay, now get me that camera. Went over, got that camera. Acted like I knew what I was doing, and did the photo shoot. And then after the photo shoot, he's like, hey, I need to, I'm hungry. You want to get some lunch? I was like, absolutely. So we're trying to figure out where to eat. And there was this, not really much in the Trump Plaza there, but totally went to like a little ice cream shop that was right there on the boardwalk. And he treated me to some ice cream. And long story short, I help him with his camera equipment back to where he had to catch the bus to go back home to New York. And he turns in his receipts to get reimbursed. And it was either I think it was Stu Sachs. He handed in the receipts, and he said, Stu Sachs goes, "What's this receipt for ice cream?" He's like, "Well, there is this kid. He helped me." They're like, "I'm not paying for your ice cream." They thought he was ribbing him. I was this mystery kid that Bill just wanted ice cream, and he wanted the company to buy it. That was the rib. He thought that he was ribbing. So I trained with Al Snow, and then I traveled with Al to an ECW event. Well, he had to go to the PWI offices to do a photo shoot. And I walk in with Al, and Bill Apter looked like he saw a ghost. He recognized me right away, and he grabbed me by the wrist and took me around the office and said, "This is him. This is the kid. This is the ice cream boy." Blah, 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 blah. And then lo and behold, every year after that, whenever there was a PWI 500, they would include me in the PWI 500. And there would always be this reference to ice cream, like the Blue Meanie weighs 320 pounds from Pepperland and enjoys Haagen-Dazs or something like that, just something goofy. But I was 16, 17 at the time, and the fact that Bill thought of putting that story in his book means a lot, because talk about a guy who's been there and done that.
Yeah, no, I just was trying to think of, because I keep it casual, kind of like you said, your podcast. And in the back of my head, I'm going, I remember reading that story in the book a couple years ago. I'm like, I got to ask about that. Philadelphia sports fan. I know I want to talk a little Philly sports. Now, I'm from Wisconsin, so we've got a pretty good rivalry with the Philadelphia Eagles in the
they just aired the 4th and 26th game the other night on FS1. So not to rub it in or anything.
No.
Yeah, I love Wisconsin. I love it out there. Seriously. My life's goal is to at least go to one game at Lambeau Field. So I think the Eagles and
you've not
Packers,
been out there, huh?
I've been to Wisconsin,
but you haven't been
wrestling.
out to Lambeau though, right?
No, that's and every year me and Mrs. Meanie usually go to a away game, an Eagles away game. We went to London. We went to LA. This past season, we went to Buffalo, just as an excuse to hang out in Canada with our buddies for a few days. So Lambeau's been definitely on my list. So hopefully hopefully there's an NFL season for us to go out there for. But
yeah, and that's kind of where I was gonna go with this, is that right now we should be cheering our Phillies and our Brewers. But
it's insane.
And I've seen you on Twitter, at Phillies games and stuff, and I'm thinking, man, sports is such a big part of life that people don't realize. Just as far as, I shouldn't say a big part of life for everybody, for a lot of us, though, it's an escape. How do you feel about baseball with no fans? Are you on the side of, hey, at least it's baseball, or?
I guess they could just have a game and pretend they're at a Tampa Bay's game or something, because there's literally no fans at Tampa Bay Ray games. But hey, man, it's something. It's content. It's something to watch. it's sad to say this, but there might be awkward to say this, but there was that time there was civil unrest in Baltimore. The city was on lockdown, and the Orioles had to play a game with an empty stadium. And to me, that was some of the most fascinating baseball I've ever seen, because you got to hear, it's stuff you might not have heard if there was a crowd. So, and we're getting a little bit of taste of it now with the WWE and stuff like that. And it's weird, but it's still interesting. I watch it from different eyes. I go watch it from a performer's eye or a fan's eye. But when it comes to baseball, I'm not a player, so strictly watching from a fan's eye. And to me, if I like listening, a lot of times I listen to it on the radio, because sometimes the announcers paint a better picture, so to speak. Our hometown announcers, you hear them call a baseball game, and you can picture the grass on the field and stuff like that. So a little bit of theater of the mind. So I'm all for it. If they want to do a condensed schedule where it's like the Cannonball Run, they hit the ground running already in July, let's have fun. Let's see where it goes. If they want to do East Coast versus West Coast, do it spring training style, and then have a World Series where East versus West. I'm all for it. We live in a crazy time now. Like I just said on the Mind and the Meanie right before I hopped on here, I was like, we're living in a Ken Burns documentary. And, there's going to be several documentaries for years to come once all this blows over, and hopefully we'll pull out of it in one piece,
Yeah, once they started canceling things, I said, the only thing going on right now in sports is somebody's making a 30 for 30 right now, getting ready for it.
Yeah. And this is a worldwide thing. I see people complaining, hey, open up our states, but I got friends in England, I got friends in Canada, and this is a worldwide thing. Some people confuse it for just being an American thing, because it's literally close to home. But this is a worldwide thing. They shut down literal countries, and this country shut down. All we got to do is just be smart, keep your face covered, limit your, I go out to go food shopping, and that's it. And I come home, and that's about it. So we all got to be smart about this, just bide our time, keep ourselves occupied, and then hopefully we all get through this healthy, and on the right side of history.
That's right. I always talk about let's try to get through stronger on the other side. I think that wrestling fans, the wrestlers, everybody, we're going to be putting on a better show. The fans are going to be excited when we first are able to go to these live events. I'm going to bounce back away from baseball, but we talked about the empty arenas in wrestling. What are your thoughts? I'm old. I'm a traditionalist, and when I saw the Boneyard match with WWE, the cinematography matches, I wasn't sure what I thought about them. I kind of wanted to hate them, but I put myself in the mind of where we are right now, and what the limitations are. And I was entertained, especially the Money in the Bank match. What are your thoughts on these cinematography?
Dude, I've been watching WWF, WWE since 1982, and they will never be the heroes in anything. People will always hate Vince McMahon. They'll curse him for killing the business, all this stuff, even though he gave plenty of guys plenty of work and gave them plenty of alternative revenue streams with merchandising and royalties and pay-per-views and all that good stuff. In some eyes, some wrestling fans' eyes, Vince McMahon will never do anything right, even though he's done plenty of right. I mean, he's not a perfect man, but he gave me 2 great years of my life, and which allowed me to give my mother and grandmother the last, gave them a couple great years of their lives as well. So when it comes to empty arena, it's weird how one company can, WWE can have empty arena matches and be the villains, and then another company can do it, but they're geniuses, But all that being said, I enjoy it. I enjoy wrestling, Wrestling's like pizza. When it's good, it's excellent. When it's bad, it's still wrestling. I love wrestling no matter what it is. And even if I'm not watching it, I got it on in the background as background noise, like a baby listening to one of those things that goes over to bed. They soothes them. So I love wrestling, the good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly, the good, the handsome, whatever you like, whatever it is. As there's 3 ropes and 4 corner posts, I'm happy. I loved the Boneyard match. I thought it was genius. I even liked the Funhouse match. It was intriguing. But we're in a different time. WWE's been known to do things a little bit differently. One person's Boneyard match could be another Buried Alive match or whatever. Stuff like that. The company literally has entertainment in their name. So I was entertained, and no, I had no problem with it. I thought it was entertaining. I think AEW's done a bang up job too. I love AEW. I love what they're doing there. I love the stuff Jericho's doing. I love the Manitoba, whatever that the brawl they did, where they had, Lou Ferrigno in there. They had Vicky Guerrero in there. They had Duff McKagan in there. It's genius. AEW's doing, they're doing great stuff. WWE's doing great stuff. Nobody, had a playbook for a pandemic when it comes to pro wrestling. So everybody's basically trying to figure out what to do on the fly. I'm just here for the ride, and I look forward to the documentaries when they come out about this era.
Yeah, and speaking of documentaries, I was talking with one of my colleagues. It's hard to watch at first with no fans. It was just, but like you said, it's the only thing we have. But you realize how much energy the fans bring to everything. So while sometimes we may shut it off, I do feel like we're probably missing a lot of cool content that 5 years down the road, when they do the documentaries, some of the stuff we're going to go, that was genius, that was hilarious. We didn't realize it at the time.
I know I'm not saying it's all great. I mean, there's been a couple swing and a miss, moments.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and I like the Money in the Bank match. I enjoy thinking of WWE headquarters as, hey, Doink is still hanging out in there, and Brother Love, that little fantasy land.
Yeah.
Wrestling travel.
I wish I could have been the person in the blue stairwell, but say la vie.
Well, next time.
Yeah.
So wrestling travel, we're out of the United Kingdom, Manchester to be specific. We bring fans all over the world to their favorite matches. You probably have. This is going to sound dumb, but this is a conversation. Have you wrestled in the United Kingdom before?
Absolutely.
And what is there a difference between the fans, U.S. fans, UK fans?
They're one and the same, but I go to England, and it reminds me, because I'm a Philly sports fan, and I'm unapologetically biased to Philly sports. Sorry for stay with the new mouth. But I liken, UK fans to Philadelphia sports fans. Any fans, when they come up with the chants or the singing of the songs and stuff like that.
Oh, we got a little freeze up here.
Just mention, ECW was Philadelphia's fifth sports team. If I could get that out of my head too. But UK fans are awesome, and I think they're a little bit more lively because sometimes they don't get a lot of the US guys. At least when I was going over there, in the 90s and mid 2000s, stuff like that. They're lively. They sing along. They got their chants, and they got a wicked sense of humor. And I love them. I love the UK. Me and Mrs. Meanie just went over to England for the Eagles away game against the Jags, and we're itching to go back to the UK just for anything. I love it over there. I mean, I'm a proud American, trust me, but I love the UK. You know, they're a great group of fans. They're so passionate. I love them.
Yeah, and the British wrestling is really growing over there lately. You know that I've
Yeah.
noticed. I've been with the company, so very cool.
It's got a reminder on my Facebook that it's been like 4 years since I've been back there for wrestling, and seems like yesterday, but I'd love to go back. I worked for Target Wrestling, IPW UK, all that. I did like a 4-day loop over there. It was so much fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of it going on. Kind of, we'll close up here because I didn't want to take up too much of your time. But back to Philly sports. The NFL draft was something I always enjoy anyway, but particularly this year. I'm not sure how you are, if you're as fanatical as I
Oh
am.
yeah,
You are. How did you feel like you guys drafted?
I at least watched the first 2 nights. I think we did fine. We addressed we addressed a lot of needs. Some we needed a wide receiver. We needed young wide receivers. The second round was a little controversial, getting a quarterback in the second round. But if you look at the NFL nowadays, you need 2 quarterbacks. You see what the New Orleans Saints went through when Drew Brees broke his hand and he had to be out for a couple weeks, and Teddy Bridgewater took over and maintained that a winning streak. I think he went 5-0 or something with Teddy Bridgewater, for crying out loud. And then they have Taysom Hill there for the Saints. He's a gadget quarterback / receiver / running back, whatever. So the Eagles went out and got a quarterback, and I think he's going to fill in that Hill role where you could put him out and as a wide receiver, you can have him a running back, you can have him throw, you have Carson give him the ball, you could do a flea flicker. I think the Eagles are going to get a little bit creative with their offense. With Jalen Hurts, who they I feel bad. Jalen Hurts, they drafted in the second round from Oklahoma. I think they're going to have a little bit more of a creative offense. And again, they went and got out. We got some defense, which we desperately needed because the Eagles aren't getting any younger. So they needed some youth in there to fill in some spots. And then they went and traded out and got I'm drawing blanks on the guy from the 49ers. We just got it for a wide receiver. We definitely got some more weapons for Carson. And, we just need to, see if there's going to be a season. We can argue about whether this draft was good or not, but if there's no season, we have nothing to measure it against.
Right. And I've been following that question up. I've been interviewing a lot of indie guys, and I've been following that question up with, if you had the number 1 draft pick and you were starting your own wrestling promotion, and you could pick anybody in history, but I'm not going to go there with you because there's so many you could pick, but in your career, you've been watching wrestling since you were younger, but you've probably gotten to meet a lot of the guys that you looked up to as a child and as a fan. Has there been that one that's eluded you, that somebody that I never got a chance to meet him? Or somebody you really think of and I know it's different now that you're in the business, but the kid in you is like, man, I would have liked to.
Oh, as a fan?
Yeah. As the fan of you, like, hey, I never got to shake hands. Like, it would be like somebody younger than us now going, hey, I got to work and meet Stone Cold Steve Austin because I grew up watching it. It's weird. I've been interviewing these indie guys, and I'm like, when did you first start watching wrestling? And they're like, man, it was all the way back in 2006. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah, so they missed out on a lot. Dude, I've been so fortunate. Being in the business, you get to do all these conventions and stuff like that. And eventually you meet these people later on and stuff like that. But I've been fortunate. I got to meet a lot of people when I was a fan, just growing up in Atlantic City, and then going to WrestleMania 4, WrestleMania 5, and then them having fan fests. And then anytime there was wrestling in Philadelphia, I had a crew of fans that would go, Ric Flair would always talk about, when I come to Philadelphia, I'll be at the Airport Marriott. And the fans knew to go to the airport Marriott. And sometimes WWE and NWA will run Philadelphia the same night, just to kind of see
Yeah.
if they would lose any fans. I mean, Civic Center and Spectrum are different attendance settings, but hey, did we lose any fans? So, and they each show would basically sell out. But you go back to the hotel and you see Roddy Piper hanging out with Ted DiBiase, or no, you see Ric Flair and Arn Anderson, who are in the NWA, hanging out with Piper in the lobby, and you're just like, oh my God, Piper's with the
Yeah.
Horsemen, stuff like that. So I've had a very fortunate life, being a fan, living in Philly and partially living in Jersey for a little bit, that I was able to, and go and see a lot of people live and in living color, and hang out afterwards and try to get an autograph or meet them. But as far as somebody I missed out on, I'm drawing blanks because I really did get. I got a chance to meet. I was very fortunate. I'm not bragging. I was very fortunate to meet a lot of the people I got to meet, and then later on work with. So it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like if you wrote a story, if you wrote a movie about people, like, that's corny. There's no way that happened. But I was very fortunate.
I kind of want to wrap up. Like I said that 5 minutes ago. I apologize, but looking and doing some
Okay.
research, you've had a few movies,
Yeah.
TV shows that you have done. Anything? What was the last thing that you've done? Last project, media wise, like that?
Ooh.
Oh, sorry.
Good. No, good question. Because I did movies. I guess last movie was probably The Wrestler, and but I've done a lot of documentaries since then.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm
Uh,
leaving those out. Yeah, sorry.
no, no, no. Well,
Yeah,
they're movies too.
yeah,
I
they
did.
are.
I have a friend, Tommy Avalone, who does a lot of great movies. He just put out a movie I highly recommend called Waldo on Weed, which you can find on Amazon right now. About parents of a child who gets eye cancer, and they've tried to find alternative ways for the kid to get better. And through cannabis, the kid survived. Not saying it was a cure, but that, along with the chemotherapy, helped.
Oh,
So, but I also did a documentary with him. He did a documentary on Mick Foley, and Real Life Santa Claus is called I Am Santa Claus. And I appear in that because I traveled with Mick Foley a lot. And Mick Foley is hardcore Christmas 24/7, 7 days a week, every day, every month, day, whatever year. You go to his house right now, he's got a Christmas tree up. But I would travel with Mick. Me and Al Snow were riding partners with Mick for a while. And we'd be in July. It'd be July in Arizona, somewhere blazing hot. Hey guys, can I put on some music? And you're like, yeah. And he put on like Nat King Cole Christmas hits or whatever. And you're like, okay, this is a rib. And then he would it's like he never let you in. But no, Mick Foley is the king number one fan of Christmas. So you asked about last movie I did, probably I'm thinking I Am Santa Claus, with the documentary with Mick Foley, which came out a couple years ago. But I'm a big fan of documentaries and doing movies and stuff like that. And I got to help out with the Dark Side of the Ring people. I wasn't on it, but I helped get them in touch with Sandman and New Jack, so I got credited for that. But I'm always doing something. I rather do documentary. I was doing acting for a while. There's movies called Curse of the Wolf, Swamp Zombies, Fist of the Vampire. I did for Len Kabasinski out of Erie, PA. You can find those on Amazon and stuff like that. But I really like doing documentaries because I like being that talking head figure, talking about pro wrestling and stuff like that. So that's what basically what I've been up to with that, with as far as that goes.
yeah, and I love documentaries. My brain was just going towards like these movies, so my apologies on
Yeah.
that.
No,
Um,
we
yeah.
apologize for. There's nothing to
Well, because
apologize for.
when you're like documentaries and movies too, and I'm like, damn it, I do. I love documentaries too. Um,
Dude, if that's the worst thing anybody could ask me, I'm getting off easy. So,
we're
nah,
good.
don't apologize.
Um, Nikki, the series that I watched it back in the early 2000s, very sporadically, but you were on one of the shows,
Oh,
or
the
yeah,
the Nikki Cox show. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
My friend Ron Rivera was the wrestling coordinator / stunt coordinator on that, and I was in LA at the time, and we filmed that 7 days after 9/11. So I had been I was in LA, and I got stuck in LA due to all the flights being shut down. He's like, "Hey, man, you want to do the Nikki Cox show?" Absolutely. And I got to be on there, and that was a special episode because they had Drew Carey on there, and Life Imitating Art. Drew Carey played like the Vince McMahon character buying up the rival territory, and all us wrestlers being out of work or being taken over. So I didn't really have any lines on it, but it was cool to be on the set. Everybody was super cool. Drew Carey was awesome. Nikki Cox was awesome. And I got to be on there with a couple of wrestling buddies from back east as well. So along with Ron Rivera, who was running a promotion back then called Revolution Pro Wrestling. So that was a good time. That was awesome.
All righty. Well, as I said, we'll wrap it up here, but I want to let you get the last word in, like I always do. Tell us again, even though we'll run it on the bottom here and we'll have it embedded, but the podcast, merchandise, everything. How can we keep up with the meeting during this time?
If you would like to follow the Blue Meanie, go to Twitter, Instagram, and I'm on Cameo as well. My tag on there is Blue Meanie BWO. So it's Twitter, Instagram, Blue Meanie BWO. Go to Cameo, Blue Meanie BWO. If you want to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. Get yourself a BWO shirt. If you want to support Mine and the Meanie, you can go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mine and the Meanie and get some Mine and the Meanie logo shirts. Or we have several shirts about a lot of inside episode references. So go there. Every dollar spent there helps keep us on the air. So if you want to go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mine and the Meanie. If you want to also support the Blue Meanie, go to collarandelbowbrand.com, which is Al Snow's Al Snow and Rod Hicks over there doing great work. Use promo code Meanie, save 10% on your purchase. And, like you said, go over there to your favorite place to listen to podcasts and find Mine and the Meanie, subscribe. Go to youtube.com/Mine and the Meanie and hit subscribe there, hit like, and help us grow the product. Right now, we're currently at roughly almost 200 subscribers on YouTube. Once we reach 500 subscribers, we're going to do a special YouTube-only episode, maybe have a couple run-ins, a couple guest co-hosts. Because my podcast really isn't about having guests. It's just about having friends, co-hosts, and stuff like that. So if we get 500 subscribers on YouTube, we will do a special YouTube-only episode.
All right. We are looking forward to it. We
Thank
can't
you.
thank you enough for joining us. And
Thanks for having me. I know the Wrestle Travel people do an excellent job. I see you guys everywhere. I see your merch everywhere. I see people represent you guys. We have a similar thing here in Philly with Philadelphia Eagles, where we travel the Eagles games together. But you're doing a great service there over at Wrestle Travel, helping wrestling fans get to events and making these events special. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I get to do stuff with you guys down the line.